Hey guys, it's Claire, and here is what I read in December. So December was a month about me kind of catching up with book of the month because I have a tendency to get way too many books and then I have them for months on end. So we started out with Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I think I have one more book of hers to read, one more book. English is hard, but this one was super cute. Probably not my favorite. I still think Betting on You is my favorite, followed by The Do-Over. Basically, we've got a tag team of wedding crashers here. And, you know, stuff happens, you know? I can't remember if there's any spice in here. Maybe like one scene, I don't know. But it was super cute. I think I gave it 4 stars. No, I gave it 5 stars. And I couldn't even tell you what happens and I gave it 5 stars. Then I listened to Magic in the Mix by Annie Burroughs. The Magic Half was one of my favorite books growing up, which is crazy because I don't like fantasy, but this one was definitely good. It was harder to kind of get into. First off, I had to read it on my phone. And I don't like to read on a device. I like to either listen or read a physical book. So it's much harder to get through, and I think I would have enjoyed it much more had I not had to read it like that. But I gave it 4 stars. It was not as good as the first one. Then we read House of Glass, which was my July book of the month. And I literally had no hopes going into this, but turns out this is probably one of my top 20 favorite books of all time. It is about this little girl who gets accused of murder. And so this lawyer has to come in and kind of assess who the girl should live with. And it's crazy. There's so many twists and turns. Definitely 5 stars. I could definitely see myself rereading this in like 10 years and like trying to figure it out again. Then I read my October book of the month, which is Dearest, and it's about this woman who goes kind of crazy after having a baby. Super spooky, super fun. I didn't even put my rating on my notes, so I will put the rating on the screen for you. Then I listened to The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie by Frida McFadden, and I say this every time I review one of her books. It seems like she's in it for the money now because really it was 3 stars. It was easy to get through, but did I really care about the story? No, and she hasn't really made me care about one of her stories in a while. Like it's been a really long time. Like even The Housemaid 3 was just like, eh. Then I listened to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which I have been listening to since like October, and I literally had to give it back to the library because that's how long it took me to read it. But we finally finished it. It's obviously 5 stars. We love Order of the Phoenix. Then I read my November book of the month, Dirty Diana. It was so good. Like I almost cried at the end. It is about this artist who is having issues with her husband and they're trying to fix their marriage. Well, she's trying to fix the marriage. He's trying to move on. And it kind of ends up on a cliffhanger of will she get back together with this guy she used to date a long time ago. And I don't like sequels, but I'm probably gonna read the sequel to this because it was so good. Then I read my August book of the month, The Wedding People, and I didn't have high hopes going into it. Bigger books tend to freak me out, and it's not that big. It's like, what, 300 and something pages? It just looks kind of big. Literary contemporary fiction will forever be my favorite genre, and this book is kind of like a commentary on this woman who wants to end her life because she feels like she's a failure, and she kind of sees through the lens of other people that her life might not all be all that bad, but so good. Like I want to display this proudly. Then I read Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy, and Elle Kennedy, you either love her or you hate her. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with her. I love the Deal series. I love the books about their children, but the other books I couldn't care less about. This one was just okay. Like I think I gave it what? I gave it 4 stars. And I was reading all the reviews and everyone's like, these characters suck. I mean, there's not a lot to them, but it was easy to get through, and I think that's why I gave it 4 stars. And finally, I listened to my December book of the month. I literally only have one of my add-ons left to read, so I feel so good. I feel so caught up. And that one was called I Might Be in Trouble by Daniel Ellman. I love reading queer romance. It's not even romance. It's like, was it like literary contemporary fiction, but it like had like a little bit of romance element to it. This guy meets this guy on Grindr, finds out he's actually married and living like this secret life, but ends up that after their drunken night together, he dies and he thinks he killed him. And they have to like, him and his like editor have to go on, editor, publisher, person, I don't know, his like assistant maybe, I don't know the terms. I'm bad at remembering things, but they have to go on this adventure to try to move his body. And it's It's just crazy. It's crazy. Definitely recommend. I thought it was so funny. And the guy who does the voices, oh my god, it was so, like, he did such a good job. Like, everybody's voice sounds so different, so distinct. Yeah. And it was the first time I got to do an audiobook for Book of the Month. I've been trying to figure out how to do that, and apparently you have to make your audiobook your Book of the Month, and then you can't get anything else. So this month for January, I ended up doing Sherry Frankie's book, and I got the audiobook and she does it. So I'm so excited to not only cross off some more badges on Book of the Month, but family vlogging is, you know, one of the worst things that's ever happened, and I'm really glad she's getting to tell her story. But my current reads are, I'm still reading We Hear the Dead. Again, it's reading it on my phone, so it's really difficult to get through. I might just go ahead and buy the physical book because there's no audio version that I can find, because it's really good. I just cannot sit and read it on my phone, so I'm gonna have to make a decision about that. We've got Half-Blood Prince time happening. Gonna start reading The Midnight Library, get into my Matt Haig era. Maybe I'll hate him, I don't know, but we'll figure that out. And then The Kiss Quotient is my last book of the month that I need to catch up on, and then I'll be completely caught up on Book of the Month because I have a feeling as soon as Sherry Frankie's book drops on the 7th, I'll be reading it. But thanks for following me all year. If you followed me all year, figuring out what I've read. I don't plan to do this series next year. I'll probably do like 2 recaps of the year, like the first half and the second half of the year of my favorite books. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did not enjoy it, you don't have to come back. Nobody's making you. All right, I'll see you next year. Hopefully, maybe.